Hello and welcome to 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Today is a special edition sit down. We have a friend of the program, is what I like to say with buddies of mine. I have Chad Graves with Reunion Marketing, and we're going to be talking about bots and marketing bots, chat bots, oh my. They're going to take over the marketing side of things, and Chad, being in the marketing space, has some opinions. So as we go through this, can be a lot more from Chad than it is from me. But, as always, we do have our opinions, so we will chime in as necessary. Chad, dude, thanks a lot for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Sean. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about this one today. As with most of our conversations, I have a feeling it'll be passion-driven and be able to take us, and hopefully some people take away some good stuff out of this.
That's always the hope, and passion is something that neither of us is short on. We love what we do, and we have to make sure that we have these discussions because they revolve around buzzwords, And right now, AI, bots, it's all a big thing for dealers. The problem that I have, Chad, is I don't really get it. I don't understand. When I hear companies say that AI is going to make everything better, it sounds like they're getting rid of people, which sounds like something that should reduce its net cost to me, although it doesn't appear to. From where you sit as a marketer, what do you think about chatbots? I mean, not chatbots, but marketing bots. Like, how does the bot world affect you guys and what you do?
It's something that we're coming up against more and more and more as you get, there's some large companies out there who are, touting what's coming with AI. And not that I disagree with that. I think that there are going to be more efficiencies. I think that there's going to be certain instances where you're going to interact with bots or programs or AI, whatever you want to call it. I think that there will be a place for that. I think my biggest takeaway is that, one, it should, in the end, increase the efficiencies, which should, in theory, decrease costs in some areas. And then, two, I just don't think it can ever really replace, both from a marketing side or vendor side, if that's what you want to call it, and a dealership side. I don't think that you're ever going to just walk into a dealership and buy a car off a kiosk, not as long as people still buy off emotion, which we know we do, which I think the marketing world is very similar. Like, I think you want that interaction a lot of times.
Yeah, I think that's true. And, we'll have we actually had Sean Kelly on the podcast. We were talking to him about the same thing. This idea that he was talking more about the dealership side of things, because that's where AI is really coming up, right? It's coming up in the dealership. This idea that we're going to be replaced by kiosks, yes, right? Or Amazon or any of this other nonsense that is just ridiculous. And I don't want to hear about how I haven't evolved. That's BS to me. The reality is we're not going to be replaced by computers just yet. But to your point, as it relates to efficiencies, is it something that you can see as a benefit to Reunion Marketing? Like, is robots something that if you utilize them, you could be more efficient, you could cut your overhead? Is that a goal of yours as you sit there?
That's a great question. And I'm going to answer it just straight up. And that there are ways that we think we can create efficiencies by collecting data, by using tools that are already available, right? Making analytics streamlined with certain other efficiencies that we do, whether it's directly linking to, populate data so that we don't have to go manually grab this stuff, right?
We know that's what keeps your CEO up at night.
Correct.
We know that's
exactly,
why Dave can't sleep. There's too much data
in
the world that he can't digest all at once, right?
It's so much so. Yeah. That's exactly what keeps him up. But I just, from a standpoint and where we really stand on is, like, that's as much to make us more efficient, to make our lives better, but that shouldn't translate to what the dealership and our clients see, right? Like, it shouldn't sacrifice.
So you shouldn't lead with it? Is that what you're telling me? You shouldn't tell me that AI and robots are taking over the world and we're all just going to co-sign it?
I just don't think that's going to happen. Not anytime soon. I'll be honest, Sean, like, I don't think it's going to happen from a marketing perspective anytime soon, because I think, and most dealerships that we work with, they don't want to be a number.
Right.
And that's a number to a person.
And that's what we were just talking about before we came on, right? This idea that people in today's world don't want to just be the 455th dealer that you never actually talk to, or that, you know, sends an email instead of has a call with you.
So you cannot tell me that, I mean, and maybe there's some dealers that are listening that are going to say I'm incorrect. But if you're a dealer and you don't want to be a number to a person, then how can you tell me you want to be a number to a robot?
Sure.
I just don't understand that idea.
Well, a lot of this gets poked up, right? The new Google release, right? Where they're like, oh, we're going to make calls for you, and this whole world is going to change you, and you're going to love the robot interaction. I don't know how many times this happened to you, but like me, I'll call my first instincts to deal with AI, or first instances, is like calling DirecTV, right?
Which is terrible.
Right? It's terrible, right? When the lady's like, look, you know, I'm going to walk you through this. I will get you to the appropriate people. I inevitably hit 0 and just get so pissed off at my phone that I can't get this robot off the phone to talk to a human. How really will that benefit us in a positive way? Because I know there's tons of guys that push AI in our industry, and I respect that. Everyone's got, you know, a widget to sell. I get it. I do. But where is that efficient in this model long term? I feel like AI is more aggravating than helpful.
I agree. I mean, like I said, I think that there's ways that it can be used to make things easier, right? Like, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay that, you know, there are ways that we can use this to be quicker responding and make things more efficient. Got it. And I'm cool with that. But I'm not like, I'm what you would call in the generation maybe that is looking for this stuff, right?
He doesn't want to say millennial, but it's
I didn't want to say the word millennial, but here we are, right? I'm about to be.
No, but you're not yet.
Not
all right, so you're totally a millennial. Okay, good.
So
this is the
now that
millennial
we're
folks.
out on
this is the millennial folks
and
telling you he's afraid of robots. Tell me
I'm
more.
going to be here to tell you that I don't own a house, so my car is the most valuable thing I own. So you can best believe that I want somebody that's an expert to go through this. And guess what? When I have a question about my lease, when my purchase now, when I have a question about the agreement, when I have a question about the technology, I don't want to watch a YouTube video because it's the most important thing I own. To me,
wow.
it's part. I'm a car. I grew up in this business. I am a car enthusiast. It's important to me. I want somebody that knows my car to talk to me, right? So I can't get onto the idea that, you know, maybe it will impact certain brands first, right? Maybe there will be certain manufacturers that have to adopt it first. But I just think at the end of the day, like, are we just going to give up on Surface? Are we going to give up on these things and say, like, okay, now we can trust a robot to do this better than a person that's emotionally connected to this?
Well, I will tell you,
I'm going to call it bullshit on that.
Agreed. And I think that I've seen it happen. So, like, when we were when I used to work for Nissan, we went on a tour of the plant down in Smyrna, Tennessee. And I tell anyone listening and yourself, if you haven't actually toured an automotive manufacturing plant, you owe it to yourself to see the sheet of metal turned into a car. But one of the things that we saw that was pointed out to us were robots everywhere.
Yes.
And the lady comes on, she makes, maybe it was a joke, maybe it wasn't. She says, Nissan saved $1 million a year because we realized that robots don't need the lights on.
Imagine.
Okay? Right?
Imagine.
So imagine these gigantic, I get how AI fits in to the robotic side of life. Like manufacturing, I totally get it. I wish it wasn't that way because then people would have more jobs. But again, I get it from an efficiency standpoint, like you said. But in the retail, like, have you ever... I guess I wouldn't know if I've chatted with a bot. But I'm pretty damn sure I would. You know, you get those chats, right, where you're like, you're on, I don't know, Amazon, whatever. It's just like, yes, no, perhaps. This is very odd dialect.
Yeah, it's, you know, and I think some companies are going to adapt to that, right? Then maybe there's some places where... I just think it's always going to be some kind of maybe not always, but for the foreseeable future, some kind of simultaneous relationship. Like, let's use chat for an example. Perhaps a bot can queue me up to the best person, right? So I come in, I'm like, Sean, you know, this is what I'm looking for, this is what it is, and you're a real bot, right? So you're just trying to ask a couple yes-no questions to direct me to the right person to answer. Like, maybe there's some... But again, I can see that. Efficiencies, right?
Yeah, I can see aligning people with the right people based on a quick narrative.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense with me, yeah.
But I just don't, you can't tell me that, like, the years of emotional knowledge, like, that's what makes people people, right?
I just don't see robots selling things.
I don't either.
Because they are emotionless, and I think selling is full of emotion. I think even where you sit.
Oh, without a doubt.
You're selling the marketing dream, right, to the dealer.
Absolutely.
The dealer is selling the vehicle lifestyle to the consumer. I struggle to see how a robot conveys any of that from where I sit.
I think, like, there's just so many things that I just still think it's an emotional purchase in our business, both from where I sit. Like, I don't think that people, like, I mean, I'm an SEO, paid search, social media. That's what we do.
That's your job.
Right.
That's your job.
Google that. There's a lot of me. I understand, you know. So
Google digital marketing.
I understand. Like,
come back
I don't doubt that there's a lot of me out there. But if I can make that connection, if I can make someone understand that we're gonna do the best we can for them, then I feel like that's what separates us. I have a hard time feeling like a robot is gonna be able to justify what our value propositions and the knowing the people that are gonna answer the phone when you call, you know, like that's what I think
it's
about.
It's interesting that you said it earlier about the queuing up, because there's providers through AI. I don't know how familiar you are with in the actual retail side, right? A company called Conversica.
Yes,
right.
Familiar.
A couple of dudes that are on there follow me on here and on LinkedIn, and I've had discussions with them, and every chance they get, they like to say AI, and I love them for it. They have something to sell, but maybe it's more to your point. Maybe it is you can use that system to queue up, but the issue I have is if you need someone answering your leads, you probably got too many leads and not enough people, and so instead of hiring more people, you've decided to effectively hire robots.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll give it to Conversica. That's one that we've used, and I've seen it go into stores, and I think, I mean, actually saw one like really increase a couple of 4-store group for a dealership group I used to work at.
But is it increasing their already existing inefficiencies because they don't know how to hire and train their people to do the job the right way?
I can't disagree with that. I think you have a bunch of people out there calling out some of you folks, you dealers that want to say, I've been in this business longer than you've been alive. I've heard that one before.
Right, and that's not my fault, by the way. It's a numbers game. I was only
sorry,
born so long ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get it.
I can't be here
I get
and do
it.
that. But I've heard that, and then I'm like, so is that your excuse that you didn't want to progress? Because if that's fine, then you're just probably not the person for me. Like, I want somebody that's going to invest and take time, and that's where a product like Conversica, I think, is a good supplement, because they're
hands-off ownership.
They're going to hire somebody that doesn't fully know the job, isn't going to get the full training, and that's basically setting people up to fail. And so there's a process for that, right? And Conversica is a great tool to supplement in that. But we work with some dealerships that have outstanding BDCs that close their internet leads at 25-30%, and it's by using technology to be badass people.
And some of those people are probably using video, right? So the next kind of human element on our end is video. But man, you really bring it up, Chad. That's a good point, bro, about the use of Conversica in stores, because I've always just kind of been very standoffish to the idea. I've demoed the product a million times, and I've always said, look, but it's a difference. If you have a hands-off owner who is going to be hands-off, isn't going to invest in people, because even if they did, they don't know how to train them. Why wouldn't you hire a robot who doesn't have emotions, doesn't care if it gets fired tomorrow, isn't going to have a problem with you yelling at it, because that isn't how life is.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, we saw...
Good job, man.
I'm not kidding you. At the dealership that I was just talking about, who happened to be related to the GM at the time, he wasn't going to do it. And guess what? People would come in and bring cards and like candy for this made up
Alexa, whoever the hell she is, right? Whatever it is.
Holy shit, this is crazy. People are literally like, they have treated this like, so it works. But again, like, I just wonder, did that person buy car number 2? From that dealership, when that BDC person could have been there. And I'll name drop the Street Toyota guys, Street Toyota and Street Volkswagen guys. Like, those
guys are nuts. I mean,
they are.
The way they do business, the way they're online,
their BDC, the way they do social, like
Flow, the whole 9 yards. Those guys
they don't need a solution like that, because
they're engaged.
With everything,
full and full.
And that's just who they are, and that's what they do. And when you can ingrain it like that, they have a pretty solid business model. It's somebody that I always recommend dealerships. Like, go check out. Look what they're doing. Like, you want to see what some of the best are doing, go look at these guys.
look, dude, if you can make a great Volkswagen dealership in the middle of Texas, I'm going to listen to you.
They are
right?
in.
That's kind of
They
my
are
rule.
in. That's really what it is.
So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. Well, Chad, we're coming up against it here. We've gone a little bit over. Any parting thoughts that you have on AI that you want to leave dealers with as something that's important to you?
I think you just have to measure what's important to you. Is it the relationship? Is it the flashiness? Is it the being on the cutting edge or feeling that you're there? Or is it having people in your corner who are going to go to bat for you, who are going to fight for you, who are going to be advocates of your store, your brand, and what your business is? Because it's two very different ideas and very different philosophies. So I think depending on what you're looking for, you can kind of go from there.
Well, thank you so much for being on here. We appreciate it. As always, you can find me, Sean Welsh. I am on LinkedIn. It is the only place that I socially get involved. Anywhere else you find my company is just that, my company. As a matter of fact, it would be Reunion Marketing doing the responding, so we have a Facebook problem. Forward those to Chad. You can always call my cell, although rarely do people do that, 262-278-0157. The email, Sean@carbiz, C-A-R-B-I-Z, donebetter.com. And check us out next week. But Chad, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks,
All
Sean.
right?
Appreciate
Thanks.
it. Bye.